The hip-hop world is buzzing as Jim Jones finds himself humiliated after taking shots at Nas and Pusha T. Fans are not holding back, and social media is exploding with reactions, memes, and heated debates. What started as a bold statement or diss quickly backfired, leaving Jim Jones under intense scrutiny from both the public and the hip-hop community. Followers are questioning his timing, his motives, and whether he underestimated the influence and legacy of the artists he targeted. The backlash is real, and fans are turning on him, dissecting every word, every clip, and every action to make sense of the fallout. The situation has sparked conversations about respect, reputation, and the delicate balance of conflict in the hip-hop industry. With reactions pouring in from celebrities, fans, and media outlets, this is shaping up to be one of the most talked about controversies of the year. Viewers can expect heated arguments, public humiliation, and the kind of drama that only the music world can deliver. The hip-hop community was left stunned as Jim Jones, a seasoned veteran known for his bold statements and unfiltered opinions, found himself in the eye of a storm after publicly going after Nas and Pusha T. The situation unfolded rapidly, with fans and fellow artists reacting in real time across social media platforms. Jim Jones's comments, intended to assert dominance and spark conversation, instead backfired spectacularly, placing him at the center of ridicule and criticism. What was initially framed as a confident move quickly turned into a spectacle of public humiliation, with every misstep amplified by the immediacy and reach of online platforms. The fallout began when Jim Jones posted a series of statements and videos calling out Nas and Pusha T, questioning their relevance in today's hip-hop landscape and challenging their lyrical prowess. While some fans expected a heated but controlled exchange, the reality was far more intense. The veteran rappers did not respond immediately, which only fueled speculation and debate online. Memes, reaction videos, and commentary from influencers spread like wildfire, highlighting the perceived audacity or foolishness of Jones's move. Viewers began dissecting every clip, analyzing his tone, delivery, and choice of words, turning a single action into a multi-layered public spectacle. For Jim Jones, the intent was to assert his presence and remind the community of his influence. He had long been a figure unafraid to speak his mind, and this move was in line with his persona. Yet, the response from fans was overwhelming and largely negative. Social media erupted with critiques, with many pointing out that his timing was off and that the backlash could damage his credibility. Hashtags calling out his behavior trended across platforms, and even casual hip-hop listeners chimed in, demonstrating how quickly public perception could shift in the digital age. The silence from Nas and Pusha T added another layer to the drama. By not responding immediately, they allowed the public's reaction to unfold organically, creating a situation where Jim Jones was left to face the storm alone. The calculated restraint of these artists contrasted sharply with Jones's impulsive approach, and fans began to debate the strategy behind these moves. Analysts and commentators on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram dissected every angle, questioning whether Jones had underestimated the legacy and influence of the artists he challenged. Within the hip-hop community, opinions were divided. Some respected Jim Jones for his courage to speak out, praising him for maintaining authenticity and refusing to shy away from confrontation. Others criticized him for overstepping, arguing that challenging artists of Nas and Pusha T's caliber without a carefully crafted strategy was a miscalculation. Industry insiders noted that reputation in hip-hop is built not only on skill, but also on timing, tact, and the ability to navigate public perception. In this case, many felt Jones had failed to consider the full ramifications of his actions. As the hours passed, the tension escalated. Jim Jones attempted to clarify his statements through interviews and social media posts, emphasizing that his comments were meant to spark dialogue and highlight his perspective on the evolving hip-hop landscape. Yet, these clarifications did little to quell the backlash. Fans, critics, and fellow artists continued to weigh in, often amplifying the humiliation rather than mitigating it. Every attempt to justify his actions was met with further debate, illustrating how difficult it can be to regain control of a narrative once public sentiment turns. Meanwhile, the broader hip-hop community was watching closely. Young artists, veteran performers, and fans alike used this moment to reflect on power dynamics, respect, and rivalry in the industry. Conversations about legacy, influence, and public conduct dominated forums and comment sections. Jim Jones's confrontation had inadvertently sparked a cultural moment, highlighting the delicate balance between confidence and arrogance in the competitive world of rap. For many, this episode was not just about an individual misstep, but about the larger conversation surrounding respect, strategy, and credibility in hip-hop. The cameras also captured the personal impact on Jim Jones. Behind the scenes, he appeared visibly frustrated as he navigated the consequences of his actions. Fellow cast members and friends offered advice, some supportive, others critical, highlighting the social pressures that accompany public missteps. Jones's demeanor oscillated between defiance, reflection, and the frustration of watching his reputation take a hit. These private moments offered fans a rare glimpse into the vulnerability that exists beneath the bravado, emphasizing that even seasoned artists are not immune to public scrutiny. The public humiliation continued as memes, reaction videos, and critical commentary dominated social media. Fans dissected his every word, compared him to other rappers, and debated the validity of his challenge to Nas and Pusha T. The virality of the situation created a feedback loop, where every new post or comment reignited discussion, ensuring that Jim Jones remained at the center of attention. What had started as an attempt to assert dominance had become a lesson in the power of public perception and the speed at which digital audiences can amplify events. By the end of the day, it was clear that the confrontation would have lasting implications. Jim Jones's credibility had been questioned, and the way he handled the fallout would be scrutinized in future interactions with both fans and artists. Meanwhile, Nas and Pusha T maintained their positions with measured restraint, allowing the public to form opinions and ensuring that Jones faced the consequences of his own actions. For viewers, the episode served as a powerful reminder of how quickly reputation, influence, and public perception can shift in the age of social media, and how even established figures must navigate these waters with care, strategy, and awareness. The fallout from Jim Jones's public attack on Nas and Pusha T only intensified as fans, media outlets, and fellow artists weighed in. Social media became a battlefield, with hashtags, memes, and clips circulating at lightning speed. Every statement, gesture, or defensive post from Jim Jones was scrutinized, dissected, and analyzed in real time. His attempt to assert himself against hip-hop heavyweights had unexpectedly turned into a lesson in the power of public perception. The humiliation was palpable, not just online but also within his inner circle, as friends and collaborators watched the backlash unfold with concern. Jim Jones had always been known for his bold, unfiltered persona, often speaking his mind without hesitation. Yet this time, the response he received suggested that even seasoned veterans can miscalculate the consequences of going after artists with significant legacies. Nas and Pusha T, both highly respected figures with decades-long careers, commanded influence far beyond social media trends. The public seemed to align with their stature, leaving Jones as the subject of ridicule. His challenge, intended to assert dominance and spark conversation, now appeared ill-timed and misjudged, further fueling the narrative of his humiliation. As the backlash escalated, Jim Jones attempted damage control. He took to interviews and social media posts to clarify his intentions, framing his comments as a critique of the evolving hip-hop scene rather than a direct attack on the artists themselves. Despite his efforts, many fans remained unconvinced. Comment sections flooded with critiques, debates raged across Twitter and Instagram, and reaction videos dissected every nuance of his statements. Every clarification, rather than diminishing the backlash, often sparked new waves of commentary, keeping the controversy alive and continuously placing Jim Jones at the center of attention. Behind the scenes, the psychological toll of the public humiliation became evident. Friends, collaborators, and fellow cast members observed a mix of frustration, defensiveness, and vulnerability from Jones. The cameras captured moments where he wrestled with the consequences of his actions, reflecting on whether his decision to go after Nas and Pusha T was a misstep. He expressed regret over some aspects, while simultaneously defending his right to voice his opinion. This duality between accountability and defiance highlighted the complex emotional landscape that comes with being a public figure under constant scrutiny. The media coverage added another layer to the situation. Hip-hop news outlets, YouTube channels, and podcasts dissected the confrontation extensively, creating a ripple effect across the industry. Analysts debated the significance of Jones's comments, assessing whether his career and reputation had been impacted long-term. Some argued that his move was a calculated risk gone wrong, while others suggested it was a miscalculation born of hubris. Every analysis served to amplify the public's perception of humiliation, reinforcing the narrative that Jim Jones had underestimated the influence and stature of Nas and Pusha T. In addition to the public fallout, the confrontation sparked discussions within the hip-hop community about respect, legacy, and strategy. Nas and Pusha T, both known for their lyrical prowess and influence, became benchmarks against which other artists measured their approach to conflict. Fans and commentators debated whether Jones had shown disrespect, misunderstood the cultural hierarchy, or simply underestimated the weight of his own words. The incident became a case study in the delicate balance between confidence and arrogance, illustrating how even established artists must navigate public discourse carefully. The emotional intensity continued to mount as the story developed. Jim Jones's attempts at reconciliation with his fanbase were met with mixed reactions. Some appreciated his honesty and willingness to engage, while others criticized him for not fully acknowledging the gravity of the situation. The situation highlighted the challenge of managing public perception in real time, particularly when emotions run high and opinions are shared instantly across multiple platforms. The narrative was no longer about the initial comments, but had evolved into a larger conversation about accountability, reputation, and the consequences of challenging established figures in the industry. Within the house, interactions between Jim Jones and other cast members became more cautious. Allies offered support while also emphasizing the importance of strategic communication moving forward. Tensions were evident as friends tried to balance loyalty with the reality of public scrutiny. Jones had to navigate not only the backlash from fans and the broader industry, but also the opinions and advice of those closest to him. Every interaction became a potential reflection of his character, reputation, and ability to recover from the public humiliation. Fans played a critical role in shaping the continuing narrative. Reaction videos, memes, and comment threads kept the story alive, ensuring that Jim Jones's confrontation with Nas and Pusha T remained a topic of discussion long after the initial incident. This dynamic highlighted the power of collective audience engagement in modern hip-hop culture, where public opinion can significantly influence an artist's standing, perception, and even career trajectory. For Jones, this meant that every subsequent action would be scrutinized, debated, and potentially used as evidence to either defend or further criticize his choices. By the end of the week, it was clear that Jim Jones's reputation had suffered a noticeable blow. The combination of fan backlash, media scrutiny, and the silence of Nas and Pusha T created an environment where his actions were constantly analyzed and critiqued. While the confrontation had originally been intended to assert dominance and showcase his influence, the unintended consequence was widespread embarrassment and public questioning of his judgment. It became a cautionary tale, demonstrating how quickly confidence can turn into humiliation in the digital age. Despite the backlash, the situation also opened opportunities for reflection and growth. Jim Jones could analyze what went wrong, how public perception shifted, and what strategies might be employed to recover. His experience became a reminder that even established figures in hip-hop must carefully consider timing, context, and the potential reactions of fans and peers before engaging in high-stakes confrontations. The lessons from this episode were clear. Influence, legacy, and respect cannot be assumed. They must be earned and navigated with strategic awareness. The aftermath of Jim Jones's public confrontation with Nas and Pusha T continued to reverberate across the hip-hop community, and the fallout was more intense than anyone could have anticipated. While Part 1 and Part 2 highlighted the immediate humiliation and backlash, the long-term implications were now starting to surface, affecting relationships, alliances, and even Jim Jones' own perception of his standing in the industry. What began as a bold statement had transformed into a public lesson in strategy, reputation, and the consequences of challenging legends without foresight. After the initial wave of memes, reaction videos, and online debates, Jim Jones attempted to regain control of the narrative. He held interviews with various media outlets, posting clarifying statements on social media, and reaching out to fans directly. In these efforts, he emphasized that his comments were not meant as a personal attack, but as a critique of certain trends in hip-hop and the need for dialogue around relevance and influence. While his intentions were framed with strategic wording, the damage had already been done. Fans remained skeptical, with many arguing that his approach showed poor judgment and a lack of respect for artists with long-established legacies. The public reaction became a topic of discussion, not just among fans, but within the industry itself. Other artists weighed in, some siding with Jim Jones's perspective, while others criticized his approach. Many agreed that calling out Nas and Pusha T in such a direct and public way, without provocation or context, was ill-advised, highlighting the importance of timing and tact in hip-hop confrontations. Veteran figures in the music community analyzed the incident as a case study in managing reputation, illustrating how a single misstep can overshadow years of work and achievements. Behind the scenes, Jim Jones grappled with the personal and professional consequences of the incident. In private moments captured on camera, he expressed frustration and a sense of isolation, acknowledging that the public humiliation had taken a toll on his confidence and self-image. Friends and collaborators tried to offer support, advising him to focus on long-term strategies rather than immediate reactions. Still, the combination of fan criticism, media scrutiny, and industry judgment created an environment where every action and word was under examination. Even casual interactions became charged, as he was constantly aware of how his behavior might be interpreted and replayed in public discourse. The incident also sparked a broader conversation about respect, legacy, and rivalry within hip-hop. Fans and commentators debated the fine line between confident expression and disrespect, analyzing the responsibilities of established artists in navigating public conflicts. Nas and Pusha T's decision to remain largely silent was praised as strategic, reinforcing their authority and credibility while allowing the public to witness the unfolding of Jim Jones's predicament. The contrast between the calculated restraint of these artists and Jones's impulsive approach served as a powerful illustration of the consequences of misjudging influence and reputation in the music industry. As discussions continued online, new layers of the story emerged. Analysts highlighted the cultural and generational factors at play, noting that Jim Jones's approach reflected a mindset shaped by assertiveness and the desire to maintain relevance in a competitive field. Fans debated whether his attempt to assert dominance was a sign of insecurity or a legitimate call for conversation about evolving trends in hip-hop. Reaction videos dissected not only the statements themselves, but also body language, tone, and social media interactions, creating a comprehensive picture of public perception. Every meme, comment, mow, and clip amplified the narrative, keeping Jim Jones at the center of attention long after the initial incident. Meanwhile, Jim Jones worked to repair professional relationships affected by the controversy. Collaborators and industry insiders were cautious, understanding the need to balance loyalty with the potential reputational risk of association. Negotiations for features, appearances, and endorsements were impacted, as brands and artists carefully considered how association with the controversy might affect their image. This added pressure forced Jones to reflect deeply on the broader implications of public disputes and the intricate dynamics of influence, respect, and strategy in the music business. The personal impact was equally significant. Jim Jones's family, close friends, and longtime collaborators witnessed the strain caused by the public fallout. In private conversations, he expressed both regret and defiance, acknowledging missteps while maintaining pride in his willingness to speak out. The emotional toll was clear. Public humiliation, even for established figures, can weigh heavily, affecting confidence, self-perception, and relationships with peers. The incident highlighted the vulnerability that exists behind the bravado often displayed by public figures, reminding viewers that even seasoned veterans are human and subject to scrutiny and criticism. Fans continued to dissect the situation across social media platforms, generating theories, debates, and analyses of every facet of the incident. Some argued that Jim Jones' approach could ultimately strengthen his reputation if he navigated the fallout successfully, framing the confrontation as a demonstration of fearlessness and authenticity. Others maintained that the humiliation could have lasting consequences, potentially undermining credibility and limiting opportunities for collaboration. The ongoing discussion underscored the power of audience engagement in shaping the trajectory of public perception and the stakes involved in high-profile conflicts within hip-hop culture. In addition to social media, podcasts, YouTube reaction channels, and hip-hop news outlets provided continuous coverage, ensuring that the story remained in the public eye. Analysts highlighted the lessons to be learned from Jim Jones's experience. The importance of timing, the value of strategic communication, and the significance of understanding the cultural hierarchy within the industry. Every commentary, interview, and breakdown contributed to the narrative, creating a multidimensional understanding of the event that extended beyond the initial confrontation. The narrative also sparked discussions among younger artists, who viewed the incident as both a cautionary tale and a learning opportunity. Conversations about respect, strategy, and the long-term impact of public statements became central to mentorship and advice within the industry. Jim Jones's experience was cited as a clear example of how public perception, social media, and legacy intersect, demonstrating that even established artists must carefully navigate confrontations and critiques to maintain credibility and influence. By the end of the week, the situation reached a critical point. Jim Jones faced the challenge of rehabilitating his image while also remaining authentic to his persona. The lessons learned from this public humiliation would inform future decisions, guiding how he engaged with the community, responded to criticism, and positioned himself within hip-hop culture. While the backlash was intense, it also provided an opportunity for reflection, strategic growth, and the potential to rebuild respect over time. Ultimately, this episode underscored the high stakes of public disputes in the digital age. Jim Jones's confrontation with Nas and Pusha T demonstrated the power of public perception, the influence of legacy, and the consequences of misjudging timing and strategy. For viewers, it was a compelling lesson in reputation management, emotional resilience, and the complexities of navigating the competitive and highly visible world of hip-hop. Fans witnessed a rare combination of raw vulnerability, public scrutiny, and the challenge of maintaining relevance, creating a narrative that was as educational as it was dramatic. As the dust settled, Jim Jones emerged as a figure forced to reconcile with both the consequences of his actions and the lessons learned. The story remained a topic of discussion across social media, hip-hop forums, and news outlets, ensuring that the public humiliation was neither fleeting nor forgotten. Through reflection, strategy, and careful engagement, he had the opportunity to reshape his narrative, rebuild credibility, and navigate the intricate dynamics of influence, respect, and reputation in the hip-hop industry. The incident would be remembered not only for the initial confrontation, but for the broader conversation it sparked about the power of words, timing, and public perception in one of the world's most competitive entertainment landscapes. The dramatic confrontation between Jim Jones, Nas, and Pusha T has captivated the hip-hop world. And now it's your turn to weigh in. Fans have taken sides, shared opinions, and flooded social media with memes, reaction videos, and heated debates. Do you think Jim Jones went too far, or was he simply expressing his perspective on the evolving hip-hop landscape? Did Nas and Pusha T handle the situation strategically, or should they have responded differently? Your thoughts matter, and this is the perfect opportunity to make your voice heard in the ongoing conversation. Drop your opinions in the comments below. Discuss, debate, and dissect every detail, from Jim Jones' original statements to the reactions, the memes, and the public humiliation. Engage with other fans, challenge their viewpoints, or share insights from your own perspective. Every comment, like, and share helps keep the discussion alive, ensuring that the conversation around this high-profile clash continues to grow and evolve. This is more than entertainment. It's a chance to analyze one of the most talked about moments in modern hip-hop. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. The story is still unfolding, and staying connected ensures that you'll be the first to see new developments, reactions, and behind-the-scenes insights. Love for hip-hop means staying informed, and subscribing gives you access to every perspective, analysis, and exclusive content related to this ongoing saga. Don't miss a single moment of this drama as it continues to shape the industry. Follow us on social media for exclusive updates, commentary, and behind-the-scenes reactions. Platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok provide a closer look at fan discussions, celebrity reactions, and insider insights that you won't get anywhere else. Join polls, share your opinions, and see how your thoughts compare with others in the global hip-hop community. Your engagement not only keeps the conversation alive, but also shapes how fans perceive and react to unfolding events. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we'll dive deeper into Jim Jones's strategy, the reactions of Nas and Pusha T, and the broader impact on hip-hop culture. This story is far from over, and your participation ensures that you're part of every twist, turn, and shocking revelation. Don't just watch, engage, discuss, and be part of one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop today.